What up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. This is your boy Jay Reed for Jay Reed's Love of Cars. We got a video for you today. It is an absolute amazing day. What are we going to be talking about today? We're going to be talking about this surprise that I got for you on the C6 Corvette. Let's just dive right into what it is. We're going to pop the hood real quick because y'all got to see this. Y'all got to see this. I done did the fool, but there's also another part of this video that's very important that you really need to watch. So stay tuned for that. But let me show you what this surprise is first. So we popping the hood, right? The hood is popped. I got the hood popped. You ready for the surprise? What do you see in my engine bay that's different from the last time that you looked into my engine bay? I'm gonna give you a few seconds. Pause. Okay, time up. Is that on the good? If you notice, we got the nitrous plumbed into the intake. Yes, we got the nitrous hooked up. The nitrous is hooked up on the Corvette. And man, it looks good sitting up in there. And it's in there nice and snug. And the next part of this is probably the more interesting part because I got jets in there. I do got jets in it. So I can spray it if I want to. I can spray it. But let's just take a glance at this setup first. This is what you call overkill on a stock block. Overkill on a stock block. The nitrous is hooked up. We got the A&A supercharger with the 3/8 pulley. And you ready for it? It's been on the dyno. Yep, you heard it right. I put it on the dyno. And I'm gonna flash the numbers somewhere in this video because I don't have the actual paper, I just have screenshot. Now, the Corvette has been on the dyno. I know I said I wasn't gonna do it. I told you what the other tuner said. Don't put no nitrous on it, let it live. Well, we're gonna let it live as long as it lives because we got the nitrous on it. And I didn't just put a baby shot. If you recall in the past videos when I even talked about it, I was talking about putting a baby shot on it. You know, a little 35, 50 shot, you know, something like that. Because it made, gonna get into that. When I got it tuned on a supercharger for the second time, it made 675 horsepower, right? So we got the nitrous on it. I was just going to put it on there just for looks, just to have it complete because it seems so incomplete. If you look at my engine bay, it looks like a whole lot is going on, But I digress. Well, it got tuned. I took it to get tuned. I did not use the same person that did the final tune on my supercharger. I went back to the previous one who had tuned it, but had to set the RPMs low because I didn't have enough fuel in it. The reason why is because I got it tuned there. And to get a retune, it's only 250 bucks. If I went back to the shop, they did the final tune on the supercharger, they don't have retune fees. I would have to pay that whole tune over again. I wasn't about to do that. So we went to the shop that tuned it the first time, but had to limit it. And they did a good job. I ain't gonna even lie. I ain't gonna lie to you. They did a good job. Now here's the kicker. And here's another reason why I wanted to go to that shop. Because you know how you go to a shop, you get it tuned, and you just kind of trusting them that the numbers they told you, unless you're there, and even if you're there, you don't know what the calibration is on a dyno, but you're kind of trusting them that the numbers are accurate what they're giving you. So sometimes it's best to take it somewhere else just to validate what you're being told from the first tuner. So that is reason number 2 why I went back to this tuner to get the nitrous done. And he already knew the car too. So, you know, yeah. Now, this is the kicker. They did a baseline without the nitrous. And it baseline without the nitrous, you know, this is straight off the tune that the other shop did that said I made 675. My car baseline at 595. You heard right, I said 595. So you gotta ask yourself, what the hell happened to the 675 horsepower that the other tuner said that it made? That is $1 million question. I've been looking over the hell, damn B. That B must think I'm lying. Anyway, I've been looking over my dyno sheets. I've been looking over everything to try to figure out why there was a significant difference. And so the guy that actually, the shop that actually installed all of this, we went to his tuner. So we even talked about it, tried to figure out what's the difference in the dyno. Now, one thing that we did notice, what he did notice when he pulled up the tune in the car, well, when he did the baseline was, the car was extremely rich, like a 10.1, extremely rich with like 21 degrees of timing. Now, they didn't mess with that, they left that alone. The theory is they added more timing and left it fat to make it safer. And this is the person that tuned the 675. That's the theory. Now, the $250 that I paid to get the Nitrous tune, that wouldn't have included retuning the Supercharger, so we didn't get that done. So we left this bitch fat as hell. And we got the Nitrous tune. But let's rewind. First tune, so the baseline was $595 here, but it still picked up like 5/10 in the eighth mile. So there was still a significant difference, and it pulls hard. It pulls way harder than it did before. So I don't know what to think, but this tuner tuned it when they did the baseline, it was at $595. Now granted, previously the car sat in the shop overnight. It was cool, wasn't hot, whereas this time the car had to be driven across town. It cooled down for about 30 minutes, and then they started to tune. And I got video for that too. I got video for that. Man, when you see this video, I'll insert it somewhere in here. It hits hard. It hits hard with that Nitrous. It hits hard. So let's fast forward a little bit. So if you recall, I went with just like a 35 shot to get tuned in, just a little whoop-de-whoop to get me over 700. But it was so low on power. Maybe it was heat. So I don't know. Maybe these. I don't know. I just know it wasn't no 675. And you know, I'm at work, so the tuner is sending me video. He's sending me screenshots of the dyno sheet with my car info. And you know, I feel like this tuner who tuned it, and it was like $595, $599, that was probably the more accurate tune, because if you've been to any shops, they not going, you know, and I already told them it was making 675. So they were like, what the hell? You know, they are not going to send me no screenshot of 595 knowing I'm saying my car was making 675 to the wheels. They're just not going to do it. A dishonest tuner and shop would not do that. They would not do it, because most people don't understand, and they get all upset because their car ain't making what they think it should make, and they don't understand the heat, everything. There's a lot of stuff that comes into play. There's a lot of fudging. There's a lot of everything. There's a lot of everything that goes on, and then they just get mad. And they get mad at the wrong one. They get mad at the person that actually telling you what your car is really making. But anyway, I feel like I'm just rambling now. But anyway, so the car made $595 at the baseline. So, you know, I'm just sick, but you know, it is what it is. I know what the time slip looked like. And as everybody say, this is what they mean by when they say, who cares about a dyno number? Just look at your time slips, because that makes a huge difference. And my time slip made a huge difference. You got to take that into consideration too. Now let's fast forward a little bit. If you recall, I said I had like a 35 shot in it. So every time he made a pull, he was like, hey, you want to go with a 50 shot? We went with a 50 shot, and it made 643 with the 50 shot. Running good. The tuner, the shop that actually installed the Supercharger to begin with, he was like, say, man, it's running good. I talked to the tuner. He thinks you'll be okay with a 100 shot. So I'm like, hell, let's do a 100 shot. And since I answered so quickly with that, you know, they got to thinking. It was a long pause, and he was like, hey, you just want to go for a 150 shot? I'm like, what? I said, I ain't trying to buy no motor, no block, because you got to take everybody's motives into consideration before you make decisions. And I was amped. I'm like, you know what? It don't take much to get me hyped when it comes to my Corvette, because it just excites me. And I'm right here. I'm right there. The shop thought it could take it. The tuner thought it could take it. So guess what we did? We put a 150 shot on top of the Supercharger. This is something I would not recommend doing. I would not recommend doing. may last one hit at the track. It may last 35. It may last 2 years. You just don't know. But it's 150 shot on top of the Supercharged. So the final dyno numbers, 721 horsepower. So the old bird, the old cuckoo bird, well, that's a good name. I'm gonna call my car the cuckoo bird, because it is cuckoo. This setup, all this time I ain't really had a name for my car. I just came up with it, cuckoo bird, because this setup is cuckoo as hell. We got the methanol injection, we got the E85, we got a supercharger, we got nitrous, and in my nitrous tank, guess what? I'm running MS-109. We got 3 fuels running into 1 engine. Now, if that ain't cuckoo, I don't know what is. So we're gonna call the Corvette the cuckoo bird. But back to the topic at hand. This bad boy made 721 horsepower on the dyno. Will I ever use that at the track? Man, I don't even know. I know at 700 horsepower, we gonna get her in the 5s for sure. And in the quarter mile, if I ever get a chance to run a quarter mile, it's all 1/8 mile around here where you can go to on a regular basis. If I ever get it in the 1/8 in the quarter mile, I mean, we talking, I would think low 9s, you know, low 9s. But anyway, I'm excited. I finally got everything hooked up and finished. I can consider it finished. We got new brakes on it. I put new brakes on it during the week because you got to do the maintenance. Can't all do power. You got to do the maintenance. I went with the power stop brakes. I don't know if you can see them in there, new pins and all of that. The car is running good. Man, we got the supercharger on the streets. We got nitrous for the track, 721 horsepower. Somebody asked me how much it makes. 721 horsepower, because that is what it makes. Man, this is scary. This is scary. I'm going way beyond what I ever thought I would be with horsepower with this setup. But you know, I paid that money for that nitrous. I wasn't taking it off. I'm not getting that money back. I still like nitrous because it's old school like I am. So we left it on there and we shooting it with 150 shot. Now to add to this, because I'm that type of guy, I like to take everybody's opinion and form a conclusion so I can make an educated decision before I make anything. That way, if it doesn't work out, I'm cool with it. There's no what ifs, maybes, or what and. I even talked to Nitrous Express and I told them my setup, sent them the dyno sheet. They saw the air fuel. They suggested that I actually lean it out a little bit and bring the shot down to 100. That's an option and probably make the same power. So next time I go back to get it tuned, I'm probably going to get the supercharger retuned since it's so fat, and then drop the nitrous shot down. That'll make it a little bit more safer, because if I can drop it down to like 35 or 50 and still make this same power, you know, that'll be pretty good. But anyway, a lot of stuff has happened in the last week that I really didn't have planned on doing, but since the cost was inexpensive, it was already there, the stuff was already there, just had to be plumbed up. Hey, we did it. 721 horsepower. It's a monster now. It is a monster. It was a monster with just the supercharger, but now, boy, this your boy. Y'all make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. Peace.